Look, I'm in Guangzhou, China right now, and my Google Maps just stopped working. WhatsApp? Gone. Instagram? Gone. Even YouTube? Gone. This is exactly what can happen the second your plane lands in China. But don't panic. Today, I tested 3 real internet options here in China: a travel eSIM, a local China SIM card, and a VPN.
Hey, 你好, I'm Mr. Panda, your local friend in Guangzhou, China. Today, we're testing internet in China. Let's go.
Let's start with option 1, travel eSIM. For most short-term tourists, this is usually the easiest way to get internet in China. No physical SIM card, no telecom store, no passport registration at a local shop. You buy it online, install it on your phone, and use it when you arrive. For this video, I personally tested Airalo here in Guangzhou. Airalo is one of the travel eSIM apps many international travelers already know. The setup is simple. Open the app, search for China, choose a data plan, install the eSIM before your flight. Then follow the instructions for when to activate it. Don't wait until you land in China to install your eSIM. Airport Wi-Fi may not always be reliable when you need it most. Besides Airalo, there is another eSIM option worth checking before your trip: Trip.com eSIM. The real-world test in this video is based on Airalo here in Guangzhou, but Trip.com eSIM is also a practical option to compare before your trip, especially if you already use Trip.com for China hotels, flights, train tickets, or other travel services. Depending on the current plan, Trip.com eSIM may also offer a more competitive price, so it is worth checking before you buy. I'll put the Trip.com eSIM purchase link in the description and pinned comment, so you can check the latest plans before your trip. When you compare any eSIM, Airalo, Trip.com, or any other option, always check 3 things first. First, make sure your phone supports eSIM. Most newer iPhones support it, but not every phone does. Second, make sure your phone is unlocked. If your phone is locked to your home carrier, the eSIM may not work. Third, check the latest plan details yourself. Prices change, data plans change, coverage may change, and different travelers need different amounts of data. Now, here is my real test with Airalo in Guangzhou. I installed it before going out. Then I tested the apps many foreign travelers care about. Google Maps loaded. WhatsApp loaded. Instagram worked. YouTube played. In my test, Airalo was the easiest option for foreign apps. No store visit, no passport registration, no waiting in line. But travel eSIMs also have one shared limitation: Airalo and Trip.com eSIM included. You usually do not get a Chinese phone number. So if you need local calls, local SMS, food delivery, or some Chinese services that require a mainland China number, eSIM alone may not be enough. My summary: if you want a simple setup and access to foreign apps, a travel eSIM is usually the best foundation. Airalo is the one I personally tested in Guangzhou. Trip.com eSIM is also worth checking, especially if you already use Trip.com for your China trip and want to compare current prices. But no matter which eSIM you choose, check your phone, your plan, and your activation rules before you fly. Quick note: planning your first China trip? Subscribe to China Survival Guide. I test real travel tools in Guangzhou so you can avoid problems before you arrive. Option 2. China Unicom SIM card. This is the real local option. For this test, I only tested China Unicom. The biggest difference is simple. A travel eSIM gives you easier internet access. China Unicom gives you a Chinese phone number. Here is the basic process. Bring your passport. Go to a China Unicom store. Choose a plan. Finish passport registration. Then you get a local SIM card and a Chinese phone number. This is not as fast as buying an eSIM online. You may need to visit a store. You may need to wait. And the exact plan depends on the city, the store, and the current package. But the Chinese phone number is useful. It can help with local calls, SMS, food delivery, local services, and some Chinese apps. In my test, the China Unicom SIM worked well for local China internet. But here is the important part. China Unicom uses the local mainland China network, so foreign apps like Google, Instagram, WhatsApp, or YouTube may not work directly. That is the biggest difference. A travel eSIM is friendlier for foreign apps. China Unicom is better when you need a Chinese phone number. Option 3, Surfshark VPN. Let me be very clear. VPN is not the main recommendation in this video. I am not sponsored by Surfshark, I am not selling Surfshark, and I am not saying it will always work in China. VPN performance can change, connection quality can change, rules can change. So treat this as a test, not a promise. Why test it at all? Because some travelers may use hotel Wi-Fi, cafe Wi-Fi, airport Wi-Fi, or a local SIM network. In those situations, some foreign apps may not work the way they do at home. So I tested Surfshark as a backup option. In my test, I tried connecting first. Then I checked basic apps like Google, WhatsApp, Instagram, and YouTube. My honest conclusion? I would not build my whole China internet plan around a VPN. If it works, good. If it does not work, you still need another option. VPN is backup only, not your foundation. Now let's make this simple. You already saw the main options: Airalo eSIM, Trip.com eSIM, China Unicom SIM, and Surfshark VPN. Here is the quick breakdown. Travel eSIM, Airalo or Trip.com. Both are eSIM options for tourists. The core advantage is the same: buy online, no store visit, no passport registration at a local shop. In my Guangzhou test, Airalo worked for Google Maps, WhatsApp, Instagram, and YouTube. Trip.com eSIM is another option to compare, especially if you already use Trip.com for China travel bookings and want to check current prices. The shared downside? You usually don't get a Chinese phone number. China Unicom SIM is best for longer stays and local China use. You get a real Chinese phone number. That helps with local calls, SMS, food delivery, Chinese apps, and local services. The downside? You need passport registration. You usually need to visit a store, and foreign apps may not work directly on the local network. Surfshark VPN is backup only. It may help on hotel Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, or a local network, but VPN performance can change, so never make it your main internet plan. Here is my final recommendation. If you are coming to China for a short trip, maybe 1 to 2 weeks, start with a travel eSIM. For me, that is the easiest foundation. You can use Airalo if you want the option I personally tested in Guangzhou. If you prefer to bundle it with your China trip bookings, or if you want to compare current prices, you can also check Trip.com eSIM. If you are staying longer than 30 days, or if you need a Chinese phone number, use a travel eSIM first. Then consider getting a China Unicom SIM after you arrive. And for VPN, install and test it before your flight if you want, but treat it as a safety net, not your main plan. The #1 rule is simple: don't land in China with zero internet preparation. Here's your quick checklist before you fly. 1. Check if your phone supports eSIM. 2. Make sure your phone is unlocked. 3. Compare travel eSIM options before your trip. Airalo and Trip.com eSIM are 2 options to check. 4. Install your eSIM before you fly. 5. Bring your passport if you plan to buy a China Unicom SIM. 6. If you want to use a VPN, test it before you fly. Prices, plans, and connection quality can change, so check everything again before your flight. Take a screenshot of this checklist. If this video helped you, subscribe to China Survival Guide. I test real China travel tools here in Guangzhou: internet, payment, transport, hotels, apps, and city survival. The Trip.com SIM link is in the description and pinned comment. Comment with your trip length, and I'll try to help you choose the best setup. See you in the next video. Thanks.